You have been on the road for 4 years. What was the moment or the thing that made you leave the comforts or the creature comforts of a home to like, all right, I'm gonna live this lifestyle and shit in the woods for, the next year and go see how that goes? How does that happen?
Yeah, that was a progression, I would say. Because initially it wasn't, I'm gonna shit in the woods for a year. It was, I'm gonna shit in my fancy Airstream that has a bathroom and a little flush toilet and I get showers every day. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, guys, this is Jillian. I'm here with Citizen J Podcast, and today's guest is my dear friend, my partner in crime, the finder of all things, Lizzy Kates. All right, Liz, welcome to the Citizen J Podcast. I'm so happy you're here. We spend a lot of time together, so now we're in a much more formal setting, but thank you for coming.
Well, thanks for having me and having me on. I'm excited.
I literally couldn't do this without you in a lot of ways, but yeah, you had to be on. So you and I have known each other for several years now, and we've pretty much exclusively been participating in this off-road overland adventure lifestyle. We've now incorporated our motorcycles in, and that's a whole nother adventure that we get to go after, a terrifying one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But I think we're enjoying that being terrified again for its own set of reasons. But you live a lifestyle, I think, that is interesting to a lot of people. You live full-time on the road with your husband, with Brett. What was the moment or the thing that made you leave the comforts or the creature comforts of a home to like, all right, I'm gonna live this lifestyle and shit in the woods for, the next year and go see how that goes? How does that happen?
Yeah, that was a progression, I would say. Because initially it wasn't, I'm gonna shit in the woods for a year. It was, I'm gonna shit in my fancy Airstream that has a bathroom and a little flush toilet and I get showers every day. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We'd only planned on doing it for a year. The Airstream was the dream. I was on Instagram following all of these other Airstreamers, and Brett likes to claim it was his idea because back in the day, he's always wanted an Airstream. And so then, I'm hearing it, and then several years later, I'm going, honey, we need an Airstream. Like, I really want a vintage Airstream. We're not buying a new one. We're buying this like rickety old one that everything just quite works, and we're gonna gut it. So we bought it in spring, started every single weekend. We had it stored at our friend's house. We're over there like tearing the kitchen out and working on stuff. And we were there for like 3 months every weekend. And then it starts to get hot and bake and it's in like 110. And we're like, we need something else. We got to get out. And that's when I decided I want a Jeep. And so we went and bought that little black Jeep. And we were just gonna get out and like off-road in it because Brett had grown up off-roading. And I was like, well, this sounds fun. I've never done this before. Bought the Jeep. It was constantly broken, got it fixed enough. And basically over a month or two, started learning more about the rooftop tents, went to Overland Expo for the first time, got the tent and just basically started going out every weekend because we couldn't work on the Airstream anymore. And that's when we kind of transitioned to realizing that we loved the overlanding and being able to, overlanding, it's just car camping, but right. That we loved being able to trail, get out to a remote campsite and pop the tent and be out there. And when we first got on the road, like for our year of road life, originally we decided we were gonna do it with the Airstream. So we got to do it with the Airstream. So we did it for about 3 months and realized like, this just isn't working. We don't wanna sell it. We don't wanna get rid of it. So we stored it and then just hit the road with the trucks for like the rest of the year.
Because you had fallen in love with the movement that we've grown accustomed to with our much more mobile or versatile trucks.
Yeah. Because you just can't get the same places towing the Airstream.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
we put a lift kit on it. We put bigger tires. Like Brett did everything he could to get this thing where we could get it as far off-road as we can. And we can get some pretty good places with it, but we just can't get the places that you and I go to and that Brett and I and our community likes to like get way out there. We can't get the Airstream there. So we still have her, but she's actually what started this whole dream.
That's interesting. I've always kind of understood that timeline, but I don't think I've ever heard it in that format. So that's interesting. You and I met after the Airstream had already happened. You had already been a couple years into the off-road scene, and you were in Arizona, and I was out here in California, and I think we were both kind of figuring it out at the same pace, but separately.
Yeah.
And we were unique because we were one of a couple that drove separately from our spouse, and that really bothers the community for some reason. They can't seem to understand why two people would choose to drive separately off-road. Why do you think that is?
Why they can't?
No, why do you think we do that? I don't know why they think that.
Because we're drivers. Like, we're not passengers. And on the other point, our husbands are drivers. They're not passengers. Some husbands and some guys want to be passengers, and that's fine. That was I think one of the other things we connected on our first trip we went on, where it was like, I remember, like, you guys both drove, which it was like, oh my God, there's another couple out here that, like, they both drive, and you guys were getting out every single weekend like we were. We'd kind of, like, started at the same time and had the same just fever and energy for it. Like, we'd got the sickness. Right. So like, it really is like,
you're sick like us, let's go.
I was like, oh my God. And there's two of them and they both drive manual. Like, I'm in love. Oh my God. Like, we have to be best friends.
Except at the time, you guys had two Jeeps and we had two Toyotas.
Yes, that's true.
So
there was
funny.
a little bit of a rivalry there. We had the Tundra.
That's right.
So you met us in the Tundra, the stock one. And then we pretty quickly, I think within a couple months, we found the white one.
I remember obviously meeting you. I don't remember the vehicle, but
Yeah.
I think the reason I don't remember the vehicle is because I think there were 22 other vehicles there that day, so I don't really have a great grasp on other cars that were there. And I think it was intended to be a very small group, and you were part of that initial formation of a group.
Yeah, so it's like we'd known Austin for, at that point, a couple years. We'd met him at that first Overland Expo that we'd ever been to.
Right.
So we'd stayed connected, had not done another trip or anything, just literally had met them at Expo.
Right.
And so for, I think, a year and a half to 2 years, about the same time frame, they'd been like, let's do a trip. And so we'd been trying to plan one. So he calls us up finally, and he's like, hey, there's a trip in May I'm planning, like long weekend, we've got the days off, it's like a holiday, and we're like, oh God, holiday, like that usually means there's a lot of people. He's like, no, we're gonna go up to the Sierras, we're doing Soldier Meadow, just you and the crew. And so the crew was our little Arizona crew. There's like 4 of us that would go out all the time. And on the way there, like we had no idea until we're like coming from Arizona, we're on this 11-hour trek, and we get the phone call that's him going, dude, stop inviting people. We're like, we haven't. And he's like, well, how many people are coming? I'm like, just our crew. Like you said, it was just us and you guys, right? And he's like, there's a few more people. Like, stop inviting people. And we're like mid-trip already, like partway there. So yeah, as we're driving down the 395 to come meet, well, apparently to meet you guys, but
yes.
We're like in the car and there's like, more overland vehicles are like driving past and we're like, those are sweet rigs. Like, oh, that's right. Oh, wait, they're getting in line with us? Like, okay. And like, next thing you know, we've got 17 or 18 vehicles that we're traveling with. And I'm like, this is it. We got all the vehicles. It's too many, but we've got them all. We pull into Air Down and there's like, oh, there's more.
It was a caravan at this point.
Because we just keep picking people up. And then you got some of them that are real slow, this, that, and the other. They don't want to pass people and stuff. And so it's like, people are getting like stuck on the trail. So if you've got 30 vehicles and car number 15 breaks down, then it's like you've got to get everybody in front off. You've got everybody behind. You've got 14 vehicles behind him that are going, well, we can't turn around. There's a rock over here. There's a ledge I'm going to die off of if I go that way. Like, what do we do? And you got people out and somebody's under the vehicle and half of us don't know what we're doing. Somebody wants to winch, like freaking throw a winch or just like, oh, just grab a line.
It's just chaos.
Yeah. And I'm like, what happened? This was supposed to be 6 of us.
Yeah, so definitely not the trip we would have planned, but
Absolutely not.
I think once we were all in, we were like, okay, well, this is happening. But honestly, we all got from point A to point B with really very little event.
Definitely the silver lining and highlight of that trip was meeting you guys. We met a couple other friends, but it was really like pulling you guys out as our friends, and we ended up traveling, I think, a couple weeks later. Like,
Yeah.
we did a trip with you and stuff. So as much as we knock the big groups, and especially at that time, like, it was such a great, like, it's a great thing. I'm glad we did it. And
Yeah.
It's worth doing every once in a
If
while.
you want to meet people, it's the way to go. Which is one of the things people make fun of this community for, and it is on par. Like, it is the funniest thing that we travel all this distance to get out into nature and to be away from all of the things. And then, like, everyone huddles up and is like, wants to be on top of each other. And it's like, man, where are we going to the bathroom out here? Like, there's just humans everywhere. So after that trip, we had the sickness.
Oh, we for sure did.
I think within a few months, we had planned a solid, like, week and a half in Colorado.
Yeah, that was within about 2 or 3 months of
Yeah.
that first meeting. Like, that's still one of my favorite trips.
Absolutely.
Like, but it was
Beautiful.
all 5 of us, it was our first experience, like, in Colorado on those trails.
Right.
And I think that's part of what made it so magical.
Oh, I miss those first few years.
Right?
There is such a beauty in, like, you can't ever go back to being new at something. There is such a joy that is experienced because everything is new. So you have these trips like Colorado where there's challenge and people almost die from altitude sickness, and
We all carry oxygen now.
we all carry oxygen in Colorado. By the way, that was when we learned that all of Colorado is really high.
Also true.
Figuratively and elevation-wise. Brian got basically full-on pulmonary edema while we were up in the mountains.
Well, we just thought he was sick or hadn't slept well. We'd all had one night where
We thought he was
where
getting sick.
Brett was bringing the old fashions out,
Yes.
and we did make the mistake of camping higher than we were trailing. So I mean, we were trailing all day,
Right.
but then you're supposed to actually like go down in
Yeah,
elevation
the
to
recommendation
camp.
was sleep as low as you can, play in the high altitude, but always sleep. And we were literally doing the reverse. We would play at the 8,000 foot range, maybe we'd hit a couple, and then we'd go find an 11.5 to camp at. And then we're like, why do we feel
There's
like
going to
garbage?
be a view up here. We should clearly camp at 11,000 feet.
So all the things you're not
Or
supposed to drink heavy, you're supposed to sleep well. But even with all of that, I think it was still one of the most magical trips just because of each day was its own experience. And my tent almost fell off on that trip.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's when we learned we need to check screws.
Yeah, it's like, oh, those screw in there. Got it. I'll remember that. But yeah, again, so many lessons. So I long for those like lessons again because I think they're super fun. Or you're just the most alive, man. Like that's just where everything feels like vibrant and exciting.
Well, we also weren't necessarily, we weren't bad at what we were doing, but we also weren't like really good at what we were doing. So we were having failures.
I think we were bad at it.
Yeah, well, we didn't die. But it's because it was still new to us, like we were having failures and then you'd have successes. So you're kind of feeling both sides of that instead of doing something that you're just good at. And
Right.
it's always like, you're pretty much always
Right.
guaranteed some level of success at. So
Totally.
you'd get more of, I don't want to say like high-low, but you'd.
Well, I mean,
feeling
just like the concept of suffering, like we have to have suffering exists so that we can experience like the high points. Otherwise, if everything was great, like that would be nice, but you'd never get to experience like the joy of the high of, wow, things are going well and this is great news. And I'm like, it's always that way. It's just like, whatever.
I think that's a lot of what we do with all of the outdoor camping.
We like to suffer a little bit.
Yeah, so that we experience the pureness and the joy of
I would
the
agree with
moments that are not suffering.
No,
and
I
amazing.
think there's an idea behind like, yeah, the challenge and the struggle that you experience only heightens the beautiful locations at the end of the trail or that campsite when you wake up the next morning and like coffee on the edge of a cliff on the Grand Canyon is just like epic.
Yeah, after a night of wind where we thought your van was going to blow over, literally.
Yes. So we put 8 people in it.
I'm pretty sure I actually felt that. Like I had that thought. You voiced it, but it's like, is this van? It is shaking back
It
and
did feel
forth.
like it was
These
gonna blow
winds
over.
are rocking this thing. Like, is this thing actually going to go over? Like, what is the point? Like, we know this does happen.
Well, then one of them had to be like,
sometimes.
well, hurricanes. Although I did voice that to a friend of mine who lived in Florida, and he was like, you girls are idiots. It's 100 mile an hour
I know.
winds.
I
I don't know. In the moment, it felt very dramatic.
It does. It feels that
The
extreme.
van was going to blow over. Anyway.
So it made that sunrise in the morning where the wind had calmed
Perfect.
down. Amazing.
Right. We've had a couple of moments where we thought we were going to blow off the edge of a cliff.
Yes. We get a lot of wind.
Yeah, we do. So we met and traveled together intensely for about a year. And then you guys started the transition into actually this new lifestyle. You are full-time still on the road. You're in your 4th year, is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's how we terminize that.
It's been a long time. I'm impressed that you guys have been able to do it, but I think there's a lot of confusion around what is full-time travel? What allows you, because I think there's also different versions of it.
Oh, definitely.
So some people are seasonal with it. But how do you like qualify or define yours?
What is full-time?
What is full-time for you guys?
For us, so we still have a house. So I guess we'll kind of start there where it's like we'd had a big house, we sold that and downsized to a smaller house. And so when we decided to go full-time on the road, we opted to rent our house out. Mm-hmm. So we chose to downsize our life of clothing, tools, like necessities into our vehicles. So basically carrying what you're gonna live with in your vehicle with you, and you're just on the road. I mean, it can be campgrounds, it can be national parks, it can be parking lots sometimes. We have not, we pride ourselves in saying that we have not slept at a Walmart parking lot yet. So, there's still yet. But we have not in 3.5 years slept at a Walmart parking lot. We have slept outside of our friends' houses often. So Brett likes to call that mooch stalking. So we mooch stalk at friends' houses. So our first year looked different than the rest of our years. So our goal with full-time road life was we did basically want to be camping. So we wanted to pack the stuff that we felt like we needed for our lives into our vehicles and basically be on public land, campgrounds. We did visit a few national parks, but we basically stayed on pretty much free land for the most part. That was our goal.
And let me interject, because there's an incredible amount of freedom we have in the western part of the country due to the fact that there's a lot of public land still available.
Yeah, and that actually dictated a lot of our trip. So, being from Arizona, starting off there, we're already used to and with you guys, the land use of basically anywhere we wanted to go was usually public. We could find public land to camp on for free or for a permit or for a minimal amount. So we were already used to that. So the first half of our trip, we kind of stayed in, I think it was like Utah and a little bit dipped into Colorado and Nevada and a little bit of California. So all places we already knew we had a lot of access to. And so we were eventually going to go to the East Coast, but we realized that like with our setup, because at that point we were in the trucks, that it was going to be really difficult to find land to camp on, and that we were going to be subject to more campgrounds. And we were so in love with what the west side of the country has that we were kind of looking at 6 months in, we're going, well, we only have 6 more months because we were only going to do it for a year. We're like, what do we want to do? Well, we haven't explored nearly enough of what's here. Let's just stay here. So
I remember when we first started, I would get people, and this is just my being naive, is I'd get people from the East Coast being like, wow, this is so incredible. And it was really starting to explode with Instagram and the way that was peaking. And people were starting to see these images of these incredible campsites. And I remember people from just basically east of the Rockies would be like, how do you camp like this? And where do you find these places? And there was so much awe for what we did. And I thought it was like, I don't know, we just pulled off the dirt road and found a fire pit and camped. Like it was, and I'm like, these people just don't get out enough. Like, I don't know what and I'm totally ignorant, and I'm so sorry if I said that to anybody. But I then realized how we are just so fortunate out west compared to the East Coast. Because like you're saying, like, it's doable, but you got to know your stuff and you got to know where you're going. And we don't like plans.
Yeah, and there's apps for it, and you can plan it, and there's so many ways that you can do it for
it's
sure.
It's just different. We have this like free spirit mentality where if we want to stay here 2 nights, we stay here 2 nights. If we want to like go to the other ridge, or if we want to go to the other state, like we want all of those freedoms. Yeah. So we get to play in that playground, and it's hard to beat the West, or at least the Southwest. There's just a lot we have.
So our first year was of full-time road living was basically all camping.
Right.
So we did pretty much camp, and I like would write on my little post like the year I camped out, the year I lived outside like for 365 days. So we camped pretty much every single day. Right. There there were hard times, or there were times where like stuff breaks when you're
Right.
out on the road. And so we did end up staying with friends. We did end up staying with family. We'd end up staying in somebody's driveway to fix something.
Yeah.
So it's not like there were nights where we weren't camping, but frequently we would also stay. It sounds weird, but we would still stay in the vehicle. I mean, because we're rolling up with our friends, and they may or may not have like an extra bedroom. They got
Right.
4 kids. Like, we're not going to take their bunk beds.
We also
So
don't roll with suitcases.
that is definitely something to note if you're interested in full-time road living, is that like your vehicle becomes
A suitcase.
Yeah, everything has a place. I mean, to each their own. This may not be how everyone rolls, but it's definitely easier if like everything has a place and you're not dealing with bags and suitcases and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's like in the van, and I think we did it with the truck too, but basically in the van, you lift up our bed and we've got our whole wardrobe.
Right.
Like, we've got little channels, and we've got shelves, and we've got not action packers. We got the little like, what do you call those for your underwear and your socks? Like little bags for
Like
them.
totes and
Yeah, so
different-
that we have little
Yeah.
bags of, so that they fit perfectly in our closet. But like when you go to a friend's house or family and they're like, yeah, bring all your stuff in, you're like, okay, like how do I bring my whole closet? It would be like asking you to bring your closet from home,
Right.
all of it. Please take that from your house and bring your entire closet
Right.
with you. Like, we've got areas where we have all of our computers stashed. Like, you know, everything has a home, so it's hard to move out of your vehicle. It's your house at that point.
Totally.
So when you roll up to somebody's, you roll up to a friend's house or your family, it's like, all right, guys, I know this is weird, but I'm just gonna stay in my van. Like, I've got a memory foam mattress in here. We're real comfy.
Well, and what made us, I don't know if anyone's interested, but I think what made us so excited about the vans was the discovery of a hot shower on the road.
My gosh.
At camp. The other thing that sealed the deal for van life was we were in the middle of Montana. It was like 85 degrees and humid. It was
Mosquito
hot.
Beach.
And it was Mosquito Beach. Such a nightmare. I've never seen hordes of floating mosquitoes in the air, just like hanging out. I don't even know what they were doing, but it was just,
I don't know. That's the most
don't know enough
mosquitoes
about
or
mosquitoes.
gnats or biting bugs I've ever seen in my life.
they were angry and we did not like them. They loved me, which is terrible. But that night, we had 5 adults in that Storyteller van with the AC on.
And all of our dogs.
All of the dogs,
5
so
dogs.
5 dogs, 2 of which are full size. And I mean full size. And the doors were open because the dogs couldn't have been boxed in. They needed to be able to go in and out.
In and out the little
And we're
bottom of
all
the
so weird
screen.
about our dogs. So we have everything open for like 3 hours. It saved the night. It let us have camp because otherwise you would have been
The
stuck.
air conditioning was amazing.
And I remember when we clicked it off, it finally got cool enough. I'm like, okay, where's the battery level at? And it was like 82%. And I'm like, this is insane. Where
We
are
all
we?
need vans.
We needed vans. So fast forward like 8 months later and we both have vans. This is all happening all simultaneously. Our lives are a little chaotic. But so I think it's interesting to point out that you and I not only did like group travel and got kind of our foundation for what we do, obviously through our spouses and then through our other friends that we traveled with. I think at some point you and I looked at each other, and I think it was a trip that maybe you and I felt a little out of control in the planning of.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm remembering it.
Yeah, and I think we were passing things that you and I were like, oh, but
I wanted to see that trail. Like, wait, I wanted to stop at that old building.
Totally. And so maybe we did that a couple times, or it was one real significant trip. But I think you and I looked at each other and it was like, we can do this.
Yeah, we'd been doing
I
it
don't
long enough.
have to have a partner. It's nice for sure, but you don't have to. And I think we got the wheels turning. And then you and I got brave enough to be like, let's go do a weekend trip together, just the 2 of us, and see if we can do
What
it.
if we did a girls' trip?
Right.
That's where it went.
That's where it happened. And I didn't know this until literally like 2 months ago, maybe. So the history, the catalyst, the beginning of our quintessential trip, I planned hot springs because I thought, well, girls trip, let's do hot springs. And you, without hesitation, were like, okay. I come to find out you had avoided hot spring trips and had like the heebie-jeebies about hot springs.
I was terrified of hot springs. Brett and I had been to some of the Mammoth ones like back in the day, and he would get in and I would sit on the side and I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy. Like, do you know what's in there? Like, I'm just picturing, like, because you see all the green foam and the like things growing and the like bright orange color that's in there, and it's like, and all of
can't
these
see the
people,
bottom.
like, we're really selling hot springs right now. Like,
It's okay.
hairs and
Nobody
stuff.
should ever go to hot springs. They're terrible things. Everyone gets sick.
So yes, I was absolutely terrified of hot springs, but you were planning the trip and I was like, I'm in, I've already said yes. And you're like, all right, I've planned it, here it is. I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, I just gotta do this and get over my fears. So of course, what do? I go research everything I can about hot springs and how to be safe in them, which like led me down a whole nother rabbit hole.
That's very bad. Yeah. Hello, Pam's. Go look up Pam's. Anyway, I didn't know that. I think that's hysterical. That whole first trip that like literally sealed the deal. You were like totally freaked out by. But we went and did hot springs. We did it at our own pace. And
they were amazing. Like, it was absolutely incredible. It was the most perfect like first hot spring experience ever.
Yeah.
I would never change that trip.
Well, good. No, but I think it was so fun for us, again, because we had recaptured the idea of doing something for the first time, being challenged in a new way. Because now, if something happens to the vehicles, and I will say, we are extra conservative when we go out, because we do know it is just the two of us, and we don't want to I don't want to have to call Brett or Brian and be like, hey, you got to get us out of this mud hole because we were idiots and did something stupid.
Yeah, I think we plan more for failure than we plan for actual destination and hard times and like, we're going to camp at this location, at this sunset, at this place, at this time on this date. Like, that's not really how we plan, but we really try to plan more for like, what could go catastrophically wrong?
Right.
Do we have everything that we need so we could basically fix a lot of the things on the trucks or on ourselves or on the tent or like food-wise, or we're going to be stranded for a minute. What does this look like? Are we going to be okay?
Right.
That's, I'd say, how we plan.
Absolutely. And that's, so I mean, we've been doing that 3 years solidly.
It's been a long time.
Well, I think so. Us two going out and continuing to pursue adventure at the way we like to do it. And I have like a social media thing that I do with our adventures, I guess. So we put it out there that we're, two women traveling, and we try to do it as independently as possible, and we get it as adventurous as we can. That has obviously gotten some attention from other women in the community. And some of their husbands who are like, go do this. But I will say, husbands, if you want your wife to do this, she has to want to do it. That's always the rule.
So make it easy for her. You have a whole list you've written out of like great ways where it's like, make it easy, make it comfortable. Don't make her cook.
Yeah, don't make it. I mean, camping is rough, and it's a challenge, and she may love to cook, and if she chooses to, fantastic. But what if she doesn't want? She wants to go on vacation. She would like to have a beer by the fire and just relax like everyone else. So let her do that. Like, think about these things. So I think that's important. Also, we're gonna have to talk about the bathroom eventually too. You can't just hand your wife a shovel and just tell her to hit the tree line and just think she's going to be totally comfortable with this.
I mean, you can. That's how Brett did it to me, but he just lucked out that I also like was ready to be like into camping, and like I'm like, all right, like I guess I'm hooked on the rest of this enough. Like, that could have gone really badly, but that's pretty much. He was like, here you go, and I'm like, badly. What do I do with this? And he's like, just go dig a hole. I'm like, where? How deep? Like, I need to know. Like, I need to know how this goes down. Like,
it's so funny. Of course, Brett's like, just figure it out.
Just walk a direction.
Well, so all I will say, for me, I was not you. I did not
grow up camping either, so.
No, well, neither did I, but I did not grab a shovel and walk into the tree line willingly, by any means. There was some stair-stepping into that, and we can talk about those details maybe later. But I do think easing women into that, there are definitely different apparatuses and different little tents and different ways to give privacy and all those things. So husbands, boyfriends, men, if like you want those women out there, you got to make it comfortable. So think, what are her concerns, and address them, and maybe she'll come. Yeah. Maybe she won't.
Bring a pop-up toilet. We carry one of those.
A little grosser, but. So I will say at this point, like, I mean, I am like shovel hole is my favorite thing. If we could do it in the city, I would be like, that's weird. Let's not put that in there.
Let's not do it in the city, okay?
I mean, let me give context to that. Let me give context to that. I guess I was thinking, I hate like gas stations and restaurants. I'm like, oh, isn't there like a place like with trees somewhere we could go? So I needed some context.
That does 100% happen when we've been out for like 10 days, and then we come, maybe not 10 days, but somewhere in there, we've been out for several days in the wilderness, and we come back in and it's like, oh, this gas station, like, can we just go back down to the last trail?
I'll pee outside.
Like,
I don't want to pee inside anymore.
I think I'm feral now. Somebody please bring me back into like how do I like become back into society?
Right. Yeah, we're just wild at this point.
Yeah.
But so with the curating of our own adventure, I think, attracting women who want to do the same, there's always been a draw for women to want to participate in the way we do it. I think finding girlfriends that are of similar mindset is really, really valuable with women that are like us. There's always been this like nagging thing of like, well, how do you get friends? How do you make girlfriends? How do you find each other? So we decided to come up with like a ladies style event. And I think my critique of the community is, while we definitely know it is a male-dominated sport, we know that, there is nothing wrong with that. And we need the men in our lives 100%. I think we've all learned a great deal from them. But it doesn't mean you can't do it independently. And so I just don't see a lot of community effort I didn't see a lot of community effort at the time to bring these women together. And I complained about that and got on my little soapbox and complained, and then realized, I don't know if someone said it to me or if I finally clicked over that like, well, if you have a problem with it, why don't you do something about it? I don't want to do something about it. I want someone else to do something about it. So I fought that with you, with me.
Yeah, we had multiple like sit downs around the campfire where we talked about like doing the girls' night and like somebody needs to do this, and because you had done one. Before you and I met, you kind of had done one.
I had done one. It was a disaster. I did a second one.
And I'd been to a couple that were a disaster. So I'm like, this is like, we need this, but this is also like a terrible idea, but a great idea.
Event planning in the off-road space is not an easy thing to do. So anyway, it's taken me several years to get on board with this, but as 2021, and it was supposed to happen in 2020, and obviously that year went nowhere near to plan. But in 2021, I think my mindset after living through that year was very much, I am sick of being told what to do. I'm sick of being told where I can go and where I can't go. And so this rebellious, independent spirit in me was like, I'm gonna go out and do all the things this year, and I'm taking people with me.
I love that.
So 10 ladies' night campouts were scheduled all over the country, where we open it up on social media. And ladies, if you're interested, stay tuned to my social media. It's very grassroots in that we just announce a location, or we announce a date and a general location. And then I take usually 10 women out and we camp at one of the most epic spots we can find in that area. And just have a one-night camp out with these ladies. And so they just get to experience other women that hang out and do and think the way we do. And we have this great time. But what I absolutely love has happened after a year of doing this is now they're branching off and they're creating their own groups. So there's other ladies' night campouts happening. And then there's just other girl groups similar to what we do just happening.
Yeah.
And they all had it in them to do it. They all wanted to do it. It's just the power of an example. It's a power of someone stepping forward. So I think to me, that's been the biggest lesson in just step out and do something, because people are waiting for a new opportunity, and then give them that's true empowerment to be like, oh, it wasn't that hard. So I bet I could handle that. I bet I could do that project. So I'm gonna try it. And we have the power to influence each other in such a big way. And so as women, I think, instead of just holding up the sign and being like, we support women, let's go do it. Go support women, actually put some action behind it, and change the mentality of those of us that are out in this space. So we're doing it. That's Ladies' Night Campouts in a nutshell.
They've been amazing.
I couldn't have done any of these without you, but
thank you. You did a couple without me, so.
Because I had to.
Yeah.
Although
I
you
just
did
didn't
miss
make
the
it.
108-degree one, so
I was
think
really glad
that was
I
a good
didn't make it to that one. So
bonus.
it's something that we've, again, sat around the campfire and talked about for multiple years now there, and it
Right.
just felt, it's a movement, it felt so important, and it was like, I want to show up to these, like, I want to see this through with you, I want to see where this goes, like, you know, I'm not spearheading them, but whatever I can do, and the friendships that I've made through this, and I mean, I felt my growth from it as well. So me, but it pushed me to solo camp with the Tacoma because I'm coming down from a couple states to come camp with you guys.
Right.
And so it was like, all right, well, I got to do an overnight, you know, and I'd done a couple overnights, but it's like it pushed me to solo more,
Right.
and it pushed me to be more like self-sufficient in my
Right.
vehicle, because I'm like, it's just me until I get to where you are. Usually you and I aren't too far apart for our girls trip, so it's like, okay, well, I'm good until I meet Jill, and like we'll be
Right.
fine.
Right.
But it's like, all right, well, I've had to do a lot more like self-reliance, and
Right.
what do I need, and how is my vehicle, and checking it more often, and like there's been a lot of that too, that personal growth, and
Yeah.
more days of, you know, solo camp, and I feel more and more comfortable, and then I come and hang out with you ladies, and I learn new things from every single time from somebody or from you, and then go home, and well, not home, but like wherever I'm meeting Brett on the road or somewhere else, and it's like, you know what, I'm gonna stop at this hot spring and like check it out real quick by myself. So I've felt a lot of personal growth as well from
Yeah.
the trips, and I can see it in all the girls too. It's been amazing to like kind of follow along with a lot of these women, and just the incredible growth that they have, and the vehicle growth, and
Yeah.
the friendship growth, and so it's absolutely amazing.
Just on this last one, and I'll say she's green, and she's been doing it. She's not as green as she thinks she is, but she's still figuring stuff out. I'm so impressed though, like she drives all the way out and then camps overnight by herself and didn't tell any of us.
Yeah.
And normally there's a bit of a like, hey, I'm camping by myself for the first time, like everyone needs to know where I'm at. And she just did it and then showed up, and then I realized what she had done, and I was like, and just didn't think anything of it. And
That's a big
camping
deal.
by yourself is a big deal for
Yeah.
men and women.
Yeah.
If you boys don't admit that, you're lying, I know. But I love it. I think when women do that, there's such a like, oh my gosh, you wake up, the morning is never more beautiful on the night you're by yourself. Because
I survived.
I know, you didn't die. You didn't die. But there's something just so, the tangible feeling of overcoming the darkness, as all these cliches and all how silly it is, but there's something very true and very valid. It's scary if it's pitch black, no moon, middle of the night, in a wooded area. Like, you're like, why am I camping here? This is stupid. But when you wake up in the morning, like some of my favorite sunrises have been from my tent by myself, like, I'm alive and I'm the only one out here.
Okay, but to be totally honest, I still psych myself up every single time, like crawling into my truck, and I'm laying there playing full worst case scenario of like what could happen, and like freaking.
Well, I'm not gonna lie either. I have definitely turned on every KC light on my truck for an hour, sat in the driver's seat and ate dinner. Like, I don't know if I wanna stay here.
And I've picked totally beautiful, very safe campsites where I'm like, I'm good, everything's great, and then I crawl in there and I'm like, it's dark, oh my God, I might die. Like, what if somebody comes to my window? What is gonna happen? Like, I run through all of that. So that doesn't go away, but like,
No.
I still, I do it more, I enjoy it more. Like, and again, that feeling in the morning where it's like, oh my God, I'm alive.
Yeah,
Like,
it's great.
this is amazing. Okay, I wanna meet up with my girls.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, so it's been fun to see I think the transformation of what we are away from each other, and then also obviously together, because that's become so much of our lives. And now, I mean, I guess this is kind of maybe where we leave it right now, is like we have now embarked for the better part of this last year and into the motorcycle realm, which again is something we are not good at. At all. Not good at, and know so very little, and just have so much more to learn, but now are getting this joy again of revisiting areas that we've already explored, but on a motorcycle, it's a whole new adventure.
Oh, it's completely different now. Like, I had no idea until we actually got out there.
We're seeing places, we're willing to go places, so it's a whole new adventure, even in places we already know, and then just the scaring the living daylights out of, at least for my part, every time I get on that bike, I'm just excited. I don't know where we're going with this entirely, because I just don't know.
Well, I definitely thought we were going somewhere else, so I got the wrong bike to begin with. I thought we were gonna do this like dual sport, like we're gonna travel on tarmac to this location and we're gonna camp off the bike and then we'll do a little bit of dirt trail with the bike and we're gonna camp for like 5 or 6 days off this thing. So I got that like big heavy freaking bike I can't like ride.
Can't lift or touch the ground.
So I completely went the wrong direction with the first one.
Well, but did you, and I think, you do that even with the vehicles, like you start somewhere and you start, and at least you're doing something. Even if it's the wrong choice, I think you're still stepping.
It got me on the bike.
It got you
on the bike. I
absolutely
started with it, but it clearly
And how much
became the
did you
wrong one.
learn about what you wanted and what you didn't want, like just by having something that was a little more aggressive than...
Oh, a ton, yeah. I did not actually understand what 350 pounds felt like when you dropped it.
No,
So
in the sand, on a hill.
God, yes, yeah.
That's
I
where
was
you
like, no,
live.
I've never dropped that one in the stand. I'm like, no,
That's where
that's false. Brian had to come help me get that up. I was like, boom. All right, guys, can you come back? Like, I literally,
you're living
I might
there.
live here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get my snacks out. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, I learned so much already off that bike.
Well, I mean, I think we're at a point where we're changing. We're morphing. There's a new adventure on the horizon. We're still experiencing what we've grown into with our trucks, and I don't really see an end of that. At least not the adventure part. I think we're always pursuing that. So I don't know. On that note, I say we just close this one out, and then let's keep writing the story where we're going. This sounds so cliche, but I think that's what we're doing. We're just continuing to write another chapter.
Yeah.
And I think I
think we'll still use the trucks.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, there's been questions about that too, where it's like, oh, you got the bikes now, like you can use the trucks. It's like, no, we love the trucks, but I also didn't realize how much we were gonna love riding the bikes off road. So we love both. We're still gonna use the trucks. It's figuring out how to have them together on what type of trips, or like, maybe take the van and take the motorcycles. Like maybe we take a van and we take the motorcycles. It can look so many different ways, and that's the excitement about what the next chapter is. And maybe we do just get on the bike sometimes. Like they're built as dual sports. So
I'm camping off that bike.
I know.
Okay. She's like, I know.
There was a moment, there was a discussion in your kitchen at some point where I'm like, I'm not doing that.
I'm wooing you to the dark side.
No, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get one of those little itty bitty tiny tents that like looks like a cocoon stack, right? That's what we're getting. We get the cocoon tent, and we're gonna unzip it in the morning, go like, somebody drag me out of this thing.
It's not gonna be that bad.
Are you sure? Wait,
no, I'm not sure.
It'll be fun. I'm excited for this next chapter.
All right, next chapter is on. Okay, so that's about time. I think you and I could talk forever, but thank you, Liz, for coming on and being a part of this grand experiment that we are doing. But you and I can always talk, so I appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me on. This has been really fun. I mean, I know we've had all these projects together. We've been doing trips. We've been doing ladies' night campouts. But like, just having some time, the two of us, to chat. It's always fun. And reminisce about stories and where we're going. So thank you. Thanks for this time. It's been awesome.
It was awesome. So if you would like to hang out and chat with Liz via social media, so you have 2 accounts. You have Our Overland Life, which is combined with you and Brett, so that's a little more overall, and then Lizzy Kates.
Yeah, that's just
yours.
me. That's where you'll see me and the little truck primarily. So
And weird hats, lots of weird hats.
Oh yes, and I like to try out chairs too.
Check it out.